Top 10 matchup happening between the hedges where Ole Miss takes on the Georgia Bulldogs. It's 3:30 Eastern time on ABC. Ole Miss arrives at Sanford Stadium sitting at 6-0, 3-0 in the SEC. Georgia trying to defend their home turf, 5-1, 3-1 in the SEC, the site of ESPN's College Game Day. And the last time they met in Athens, Georgia dominated 52-17. That was back in 2023. However, last year, Ole Miss responded with a breakthrough win for Lane Kiffin, 28-10, and a powerful revenge game sitting there for Kirby Smart's Bulldogs. Lane Kiffin is amazing. He has elevated the Ole Miss program to unprecedented heights. They've already captured their first 11-win season. They have multiple 10-win campaigns. He's got 39 victories since 2021. That's the third most in the SEC, trailing only Georgia and Alabama. And for Kirby Smart, look, he's a defensive mastermind. Very few in the country make adjustments on the fly better than Kirby Smart and his defensive staff. The quarterback matchup is Trinidad Chambliss, a guy that nobody thought was going to be a star at this point of the season, but he's thrived here in the 4 starts that he's made and has now entered the Heisman Trophy conversation. He leads the entire SEC in passing yards per completion. He also is completing 65% of his passes, but the big thing to account for with him is his mobility. He's accumulated almost 300 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. So he can extend broken plays and create positive yardage with his legs at a moment's notice. Gunnar Stockton, on the other side, he's been great running the football as well. He's got 220 on the ground, 6 rushing touchdowns. He's kind of the vital component of this grinded out offensive identity, especially in the red zone. And the one time we saw him needing to take to the air against Tennessee, he answered by throwing for over 300, leading a game-winning drive to tie it, leading a game-winning drive in overtime. He showcased a lot of poise. He's also showcased a lot of leadership. There's a few injuries in this game that we need to be mindful of, and it starts with Georgia's offensive line. They've had several key contributors that are battling injuries. Juan Gaston, who has played quite a bit, started at tackle, has started at guard, re-injured an ankle against Auburn, tried to return, but was ultimately forced out. So his status in this game, a little uncertain. We'll see if he's available. Ernest Green, the starting right tackle going into the season, has not played since the Tennessee game. He has a back issue. His availability remains in doubt. And then Monroe Freeling was banged up throughout the week last week. He played against Auburn, and that was a gutsy performance, big time. Even Kirby Smart said that it was. But if he's at less than 100%, that is a concern against a pretty talented defensive front. Question number 1, how will Georgia handle Ole Miss's tempo? Look, Lane Kiffin utilizes an up-tempo offense that does more than just force fatigue onto your defense. It's a strategic tool to create schematic advantages. It forces you to leave certain personnel on the field. So, for example, by rushing to the line of scrimmage, Ole Miss limits the opponent's ability to substitute personnel and forces them at times into simplified defensive alignments. This is specifically significant on 3rd down. Georgia loves to substitute to get their best pass rushers on the field. And Coach Smart has acknowledged this tactic, saying that it's hard to get into the right play against Lane Kiffin because he'll run to the line and you won't be able to substitute to get your pass rushers on the field for obvious passing situations. So if Georgia's defense experiences any lapse in communication or alignment due to the accelerated pace, it could result in some explosive plays that are at the core of what Ole Miss wants to be offensively. Question 2, how will Ole Miss's rushing attack fare against Georgia's run defense? Ole Miss's running back Keywan Lacey has been one of the best backs in the SEC this year. He's gone for nearly 608 touchdowns. And his performance against Washington State kind of shows you what he's capable of. He can make you miss. He's a long strider, but he's now going against a Georgia defensive front that is statistically elite. They allowed 91 rushing yards a game. They have unbelievable linebacker play in CJ Allen and Raylan Wilson. Those two lead the team in tackles, and they make plays from sideline to sideline. This is a strength-on-strength confrontation that will influence time of possession and field position. I don't think Ole Miss's offensive line is elite. I think they're improved, but I don't know if they'll be able to handle some of the weight and girth that we would anticipate from Georgia's defensive line. Question number 3, will Georgia's banged up offensive line be able to set the tone against an inconsistent defensive front? As we've talked about already in the injury report, Georgia's got some vulnerabilities along their offensive line. And that creates kind of an opportunity for Ole Miss's defense. And while Ole Miss's defense is nowhere near what they were last year, they are a group that can generate some pressure. They are a group that can create some negative plays. They have some edge defenders that are all rock solid, and Mielen, Womack, Franklin. If they can consistently win one-on-one matchups against injured or inexperienced offensive tackles, they could disrupt the offensive rhythm and kind of force Gunnar Stockton into a costly error, or maybe stall a drive when they're on the move. And statistically, Georgia should be able to run the football. Ole Miss gives up 160 a game on the ground, but I do think Ole Miss will completely sell out against the run in this game, which leads us to our next question. Question 4, can Georgia's passing attack expose Ole Miss's secondary? I think Gunnar Stockton's a really underrated thrower. Now, he's not Matt Stafford, but he's pretty accurate, and I think he makes really good decisions. And statistically, Ole Miss's secondary looks pretty decent. They're top 30 unit right now based on the numbers. But the defense has kind of been called in the first 6 games to protect them a little bit. And it's shown in how many rushing yards they've given up. So if they sell out against the run, can they lock down Zachariah Branch? Can they lock down Colby Young? Can they lock down these tight ends that I think are just poised for a breakout opportunity? So this Ole Miss secondary is still a bit of a question mark for me, but I do think they're going against a pretty underrated passing attack for the Georgia Bulldogs. And then question 5, can Trinidad Chambliss's game travel? He's been unbelievable through the first 4 starts, and this will be his first show on the road. He beat Wazoo, LSU, Tulane, and Arkansas. It's a different beast from an environment standpoint. I think he's got the head to do it, but if he gets popped a couple times early, will that have a bit of an effect on him? We'll see. I hope not, but we'll see, because that is a question that we have as of this moment, because we have not seen him in a hostile setting, not like he's going to see this weekend when he walks between the hedges. I'm taking Georgia. I'm going to lay the points in this game. I love what I've seen so far from Georgia in stopping the run. I also think Georgia is an improving bunch on the perimeter. I don't think they're elite in the secondary, but I think they're improving in the secondary. I think Ole Miss could become a little one-dimensional, and I also think that Georgia will be able to run the football and create some matchup advantages with their wide receivers on some downfield throws.